This show is produced by the Harwood Podcast Network.
Hi, I'm Kevin Harris. We love making this show available to you free of charge. If you'd like to help us keep it that way, you can make a contribution to our Karma Jar or become a show sponsor. If you'd like more information, visit our website. Hey everybody, welcome to Live from Basics. I'm Kevin Harris and I'm here with our special guest, Jesse Brewster.
Thanks for having me, everybody.
Our pleasure. You ready to do some tunes?
Let's do it.
Well, I got to warm up the band first, okay? John, there you go. Doug, Warley, Bruce. Okay, I think we're ready.
All right, let's watch those tempos.
Jesse, welcome to Live from Basics.
Thanks so much for having me, Kevin.
So tell me where you were born and grew up and all that stuff.
Originally born in Southern California. It's where my parents are from. I moved up to Northern California at a pretty early age, and then lived all over. Had kind of the army brat, if the army was being a hippie kind of thing. Parents, my mom and stepdad, we moved around. Probably lived in 10 houses by the time I was 10. Anywhere from Petaluma to Humboldt for a few years to the Big Island of Hawaii to the Monterey Peninsula. And then I finally kind of settled when I moved back with my dad in Berkeley for junior high, and I've been in the Bay Area pretty much ever since.
Well, I've heard that about the hippie army. That it's,
the hippie army, yes. It's.
So what was life? So that was kind of like when you were growing up, you were just kind of traveling all over the place. When were you getting into music at that point?
Definitely, yeah. Since I was in the crib, my mom was always playing me, James Taylor and Bob Marley and Led Zeppelin and just a lot of 60s and 70s stuff. So it's always been there and always been a part of wherever we go. It was always the cassette player and
right.
So yeah, it's
when did you start picking? Was guitar your first instrument?
Guitar was guitar. I played a little bit of harp, a little blues harp in the very beginning, but yeah, guitar I picked up at about the age of 6, and I just learned a few chords, and then for maybe 4+ years I just knew how to play 5 chords and kind of went through songbooks and didn't really kind of start going for it until I was about 12 or so, and then I got an electric and it really started kind of getting into it.
Did you start taking lessons with somebody at all?
I took some scattered lessons. I had one teacher for about a year.
So when you were in those early years when you were starting to write and so forth, who were you listening to at that point?
I was definitely, Stones and Beatles, and I was kind of a little more on the hard. I mean, I love the Beatles, but at the same time, I was kind of into like a little bit harder rock. Mm-hmm. So I liked the Stones a lot. Not that they were hard rock, but they were kind of more rockin' than the Beatles were in my mind at that point. And a lot of Bob Marley, mm-hmm. Which is kind of where I started to get an ear for hooks because he's such a fantastic pop songwriter, basically over reggae stuff.
What kind of got you to that point where you thought, I want to start writing songs?
The first thing that inspired me to write was, I had a lot of songs that were more on the kind of a singer-songwriter acoustic kind of feel, as well as some rock songs that I didn't have lyrics for. And I released a benefit record in 2005, the inspiration for which was my brother passing away in 98. And someone said, hey, you should sing a song in his memorial, mm-hmm. and I couldn't really put anything together in a week's time, and I wanted it to be perfect, and so I didn't do that. And so the record is for a kidney disease that my family suffers from called polycystic kidney disease, PKD. I've got it. My dad's had a kidney transplant because of it, and my brother passed away because of it. So I wanted to kind of raise awareness about that disease, as well as kind of put some of these songs to use.
Right.
And just found it really therapeutic to kind of dig really deep and just put it all out there, and not try and write stories about fictional things. It really just kind of is, just really therapeutic to do that. So that's kind of the place that I wrote from on that first record. So that's where it began.
So tell me about, we're going to do this first tune, My Great Escape. So tell me about this tune and where it came from.
Usually I've written a few songs that start with a concept and then I write the music around it, but usually, as my background is obviously much more as a player, I get inspired by a rhythm or by a melody, and then I work from there, and I try and determine what that melody or rhythm is telling me, and not, and then serve that melody as opposed to trying to force lyrics that don't really fit.
Right.
So this particular riff, I was just it just seemed like a sort of an introspective piece, but it's got some, it drives pretty good, but the concept is just you can never hide from yourself kind of thing, and just putting on a front, and the outside world can think what they want, but at the end of the day you're gonna have to deal with yourself kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're going with that one, and that song was actually featured last year on the KFOG Local Scene CD Volume 6, I believe, which is a benefit for music in schools in the Bay Area. So that was really fun, getting some, to turn on KFOG and hear it playing on the radio.
That's cool.
And whatnot. So, yeah.
I like this song very much. It's kind of interesting because I really got caught up in the verse lyrics, which is like a lot of times it's like, the chorus is what you're looking for, but I was really intrigued by the verse lyrics.
This shaky kind of truths. He don't judge and I don't display any of those ugly little truths. Lately it's been getting so damn hard, ain't got much room left on the shelf. I can only bottle up so much pain, 'cause it's always tricky hiding from yourself. I've got you, my great escape. You're my great escape. Me and my mirror don't always see things the same way. Left up to him, my heart is on my sleeve, and I never let it see light of day. Looking outside, it gets so dangerous. There's no place for me to hide. Always seem to work out so much better when I'm keeping it all on the inside. I've got you, my great escape. I've got you, my great escape. You're my great escape. Count on me for all the best excuses. inside of me I hate. Maybe we can reach an agreement. We don't have to place the blame. I know I've gotta give up this burden and admit that you and me are just the same. I've got you, my great escape. Yeah, I've got you, my great escape. I've got you, my great escape.
So I get the sense that you have a rather busy little life going on these days. Tell me about that.
Well, I've got an 11-month-old daughter. That obviously is, as anybody who has kids knows, takes up a lot of time. And so I spend my mornings hanging out with her. My wife works, so I spend a lot of time the first half of the day with her, taking care of her, and then the grannies take over usually midday, and I have a little bit of a small block of time to work on promoting my music and writing and whatnot, and then I teach private guitar and bass lessons in the afternoon.
What kind of stuff when you're doing your writing? Are there things that you tend to get inspired by when you're coming up with a tune?
Yeah, usually it's either a first line will pop out and then I can build around that, or there's a concept that's just, when I'm hearing, if I just record myself on a little handheld device and I'm listening to that, whatever that idea is back, then something will always click, like, wow, this is about this guy who's coming back from a war, this is about someone who really hates themselves or whatever else, and I really try to stay true to that, just because I don't want to, I don't want something to like have a really upbeat thing and have a, it's got, to me, those two things really have to fit, and once I find, sometimes it takes a really long time. The next song that we're going to be doing took me, I probably had that riff for a year before I actually finally got through what the concept was about. And once it clicked, it went really fast. But until that point, it was like every once in a while, I'd sort of strum through it. Yeah, that's catchy anyway. And I just, and I still have, to this day, I probably have 18, at any given time, I'll have between 15 and 30 ideas that are, some are even near complete that I just haven't quite found. I feel like songs or ideas or things that are just sort of floating around out there, and if I can grab that right one and out of my head and put it in the right spot, then it'll work. But if I can't, I'm not going to force it.
So speaking of this tune that we're about to do here, All She Deserves, tell me where that inspiration came from.
So as I was saying, just had that riff sitting around for a while, and I think I might have had 2 out of the 4 sections that the song has, and once I kind of dove in lyrically to it and kind of decided where I wanted to go with it, it all happened pretty fast lyric-wise. But the concept is just being so in awe of another person, or amazed to be worthy of a relationship or of a person that you just feel like there's no way you can ever live up to how amazing that person is. And I try to just right from that standpoint, and it's it's kind of dark in time, so that's sort of like maybe the depression that you're feeling, not depression, but sort of fear that you're not going to be able to measure up. And so it's a love song, but it's also like a yeah.
Lay me down, don't let me sleep. I don't think I'm ready to love this deep. Draw the curtains, block out the day. Can't take the chance of being seen this way. 4 hours left of the living hour when night falls. 4 hours left till I can drown it all. Too many choices I couldn't make. So many chances I could never take. But when push comes to shove, and I know that there's love all around, let go. When my doubts hold me prisoner, just hope that I've given her all she deserves. What a fool I've been with all the time I spent trying to put the pieces back together again. Alone with my demons, I sit atop this wall. I could take the plunge and not matter at all. It not matter at all. But when push comes to shove, and I know that this love all around, let go. When my doubts hold me prisoner, just hope that I've given her all she deserves. When you fall down, I will always be there to pick you up. When you call out, I'll come running from the ends of the earth. Believe in me, trust me with your fears and doubts, 'cause there's nothing wrong with giving too much. I'm still learning the rules of this crazy game. If I fall short, I've got myself to blame. So lay me down, hold me the whole night through. My dying wish is to be enough for you, to be enough for you. But when push comes to shove, and I know that there's love all around, let go. When my doubts hold me prisoner, just hope that I've given her all she deserves. Give her all she deserves. Give her all she deserves. Give me all that she deserves. Give her all she deserves. I'm giving her all she deserves. All she deserves.
So I get the feeling you've done a fair amount of recording. what is your process like when you're working on your own stuff?
Ideally, or how it usually works out. Well, typically, I do as much of the pre-production stuff myself. In the past, I've done it as much to where I'll record everything at home and hand a CD to all the band members and be like, here's kind of what I'm feeling, or however much of that idea I have, and then we'll have a rehearsal and go through the songs, and we'll kind of figure out what everybody's doing. Some songs I've got it really in my head what I have to hear. Other times I kind of want to let people, find their own inspiration to get their parts down. I try to capture as much of the stuff as I can live, especially the rhythm section, guitar, bass, and drums. If I've got another electric player playing, I want to, as many takes as I do, I try to use all of them playing together. Just because I feel like the vibe that comes out of that is really key for me to get inspired to sing well over it. And then I usually, just for sound purposes, I'll play acoustic along, and then I'll go back and really get the great tone and get that acoustic on top. But I love the process of recording. If I could do nothing else but write, record, and tour, obviously that would be fantastic. It's the one nerve-wracking thing is that any musician will tell you, or anybody who has to do anything by the hour, is just the sort of the creative process balance with the financial aspect, and kind of watching the clock, and these things are sounding better, and when is it actually done? When do you because I can continue tweaking forever. I'm not necessarily adding, maybe taking stuff away or trying different things, and at some point you just have to be, this is how it's going to be. And
at some point you got to go, I'm
done. And I believe in the idea of the record being not just an album, but it's a record of what happened during a specific period of time.
So tell me about what is in your catalog, album-wise.
But the first one that I released is called Confessional. That's the benefit record. It was released in 2005. All the proceeds from that go to the PKD Foundation, Polycystic Kidney Disease. And then I kind of took a step back and was like, wow, I really miss holding my electric guitar, and so I kind of got it a little back into rock a little bit, and I released an EP, I believe in 2006, of about 7 songs, just called Jesse Brewster Band, and that's sort of I would call that sort of a middle in between the really just acoustic, clean kind of playing and all out rock. Coming up here in the next month, I'm going to release my new record, which is called Wrecking Ball at the Concert Hall, which is 10 tracks and sort of represents, the quieter kind of songs like All She Deserves would be the concert hall songs, and then the songs like All Those Things I Said would be the Wrecking Ball kind of songs.
So you've got all these albums out here. Where can people get a hold of them? Get
Confessional or the Jesse Brewster Band EP on iTunes. And then I'll be putting Wrecking Ball at the Concert Hall up there pretty soon. I'm going to be using initially a local company called Bandcamp.com, which is a pretty fantastic model, being that it's free, and the artist keeps 100% of the proceeds.
Wow.
I released my single, which is called I'm Not Broken. I didn't play that today, but I released that a couple months ago. It's the first single from the album, and if you go jessebrewster.bandcamp.com, you can go in there and you can put in a minimum of 79 cents to download that song, and in a variety of formats too. You can download it as a WAV or an AFF or an
that's
MP3.
Cool.
And if you want to give me $5, and I've had people do that, which has been really, really cool. So I'll release the rest of the record on that website first, and then hard copy will be available shortly thereafter in iTunes and whatnot.
When we were first talking about you doing the show, you sent me an MP3.
All those things I said. The concept is just the simple, age-old men who need to learn how to say yes, dear, and this is, I think it was written before I was even married, but it's just the kind of thing where, you could have an argument, but even if you're right, you're going to lose. Mm-hmm. So I feel like a lot of times we say things to women that we tend to regret for a really long time, even if it was just something that was said in passing. And so it's kind of like put your foot in your mouth and just hoping that she's going to forget about all those things you said, because,
words to live by.
Yes, indeed. Yes, dear. Whatever you say.
Talk about is me and my big plans. When you thought you found someone, understood you ever needed one, with your secrets you could confide. If I could, I'd take them all back. Lies I told that set you off. tied me to the tracks. Ooh, as I'm running through my head, just hoping you can forget about all those things I said. Making sense at all. Never pick up when you call. What exactly do I feel? A victim of my circumstance. I'd do anything for one more chance to make myself understood. If I could, I'd take them all back. As I told you, set you off, tied me to the tracks. Running through my head, so hoping you can forget about it. I'm praying that you'll forget about all those things I said. Once my words are spoken, they can't be pulled back in. Ooh, once your trust is broken, do my best to make amends. Never been a friend of mine. In your heart I know you'll find a way to see underneath. Hoping that you understand that food is was when I was made for man, and it's not who I'm trying to be. If I could, I'd take them all back. As I told you, set you off, tied me to the tracks. Ooh, as I'm running through my head, lots I told this set you off and tied me to the tracks. Ooh, as I'm running through my head, just hoping you can forget about it. I'm praying that you'll forget about it. Knowing you can forget about all those things I said.
Well, that's our show for today. We'd like to thank Jesse Brewster for coming and playing his great tunes with us. If you'd like to get more information on Jesse and how to get a hold of his great music, go to our website and visit the Live from Basics show page, and we'll have all the information there for you. Well, that's our show for today. See you next time.